Yeah, talk that. Virgin like, party. Virgin like, yeah. Virgin. Ryan and Kevin, they're spitting the truth, keeping it real, keeping it orange and blue. Talking recruit, who's next in line? Line our pride, it's about that time. Orange and blue, yeah, that's how we do. Post-game vibes, breaking it through. Ryan and Kevin, the crew that you knew. Keeping it fresh, keeping it orange and blue. From the court to the field, every play, every step. Debating the cause where the game is at. Who's rising, who's falling, who's making the cut. Line 9 for life, never stuck in the rut. Okay, recruiting buzzer got the inside line. Post-game chatter, they're always on time. Breaking it down, they're the voices you trust. Orange and blue, yeah, they repping for us. Orange and blue, yeah, that's how we do. Post-game vibes, breaking it through. Ryan and Kevin, the crew that you knew. Keeping it fresh, keeping it orange and blue, yeah. So tune in, lean back, let the wisdom flow. Ryan and Kevin with the knowledge they throw. Line 9 Nation, this one's for you. Forever proud, keeping it orange and blue, yeah. Orange and blue, orange and blue, yeah. Orange and blue, orange and blue, yeah.
Welcome. Whoa. Welcome. Joined as always by Urbana's finest Kevin Ducey. I'm Ryan Schroet. And today we're joined by the GOAT.
Our guardian angel sitting over my shoulder here in this picture.
The Waggler.
The Waggler.
4-6 glasses. So obviously we're feeling pretty good right now. Hopefully all you Illini fans tuning in or watching are feeling pretty well. So Illinois went into West Lafayette and did something, Kevin, that had been very hard over the last 6 years. And so, think about this. I remember Brad's like third or fourth year. He was just starting to get it rolling. It was the COVID year. Trent and Kofi were just dominated them in West Lafayette. I think Trent had like 30. And we won by like
I think they had like 5. I think it was 5 of 7 from 3. I looked up that. Kofi went with like 22 and 13.
And he was hitting like 17 footers. Kofi was in that game. And I remember thinking, we are going up and Purdue is going down. I remember that. I was like, we're ascending and they're not, because they weren't really very good. And boy, was I wrong about Purdue. They actually got better and better every year, and we kind of stayed the same.
Know what they did? They found guys like this.
Yeah,
they found guys like no, I'm serious. Like,
Braden Smith was an underrated, under-recruited kid.
Zach Heady, arguably the best college basketball player I've seen in my lifetime. I think it's Glenn Robinson. Funny enough, it's at Purdue. Jay Williams is in that category too. Hey, hi. My daughter Claire coming in to say hello.
Are you the other one, or were you in earlier?
No, she was in earlier.
Okay, I was like, I'm sorry, don't take offense. I know it's your sister. You guys kind of look similar. So
no, we don't.
You both look like your dad. Yeah, you do.
Hey, so what was it like watching the game with me on Saturday?
It was fun and loud.
Right. I gave a couple.
I got a fresh new vocabulary.
That's right. I gave a couple I'll be honest, I gave a couple F yeahs. And my 5-year-old was there and he was watching with me. And what's fun is he loves to root against Mad Illini to irritate me. So he's at that little annoying stage. I don't know if your daughters ever did that. Where
no, they don't actually, but I think it's because we're in Oklahoma and they got to deal with the fact that they are Illinois fans and their friends drive them nuts.
So my 5-year-old, like if the Cowboys are on, he roots for whoever they're playing. Right. If Illinois is on, and I'm like, yeah, he roots for the other team to purposely irritate me. And this time he saw how like serious I was about the game, and he saw when Avicic hit that 3 late, and then Jake Davis right before the buzzer. I gave a couple big F yeahs, and then he high-fived me, and he was kind of like, okay, this is a big game, So, this was one of the one, Kevin, this performance here, not just from Keaton, but how about just all the guys on the team down the stretch? Jake Davis 3 late, right? David Mirkovich 2 late big threes. And then Tomislav Avicic, I think, hit 2 as well. So it wasn't just Keaton Wagler. It was the clutchness of the team. And
Swanamir hit that three towards the end of the half. They were up by like 9 or something late.
Yeah, Zvonimir hit that corner three. Yep.
Yeah, and then Keaton hit one to end the half, and it was just like, that was huge. The guy stepped up. Obviously you don't win this game without Keaton's 46 points. Yeah. It's funny. We lost at home because the guy caught a heater and absolutely torched us for 30-some points. It's only turnabout's fair play that we can win a game when one of our guys catches a heater at their place. But ultimately, it was Keaton and the rebounding, and the rebounding was a total team effort. I mean, Andre did not have a very good game offensively. I thought he forced some things, especially early, but he was great on the glass, and he was being run. I mean, chasing Braden Smith's not easy. I tip my hat to Braden Smith. I thought he played phenomenal. It was unbelievable. Like, I can only imagine what would have been said about him had Purdue won the game. Had Waggler not done what he did, the whole country would have been talking about Braden Smith's performance, and rightfully so. He made some unbelievable passes. He was making tough shots. Frankly, I think for Purdue, he doesn't shoot the ball enough. I mean, obviously, when you're going to be most likely the all-time assist leader in college basketball, you want that guy to do what he does and facilitates, but he is so good. Like, I can't criticize him whatsoever. But you're right, Ryan. Everybody ended up contributing. Tommy was on the 7 boards in the first half. In the second half, you're like, what are you doing? And he gives us 7 big points late, right? Yeah. And that's who this team is. Jake Davis was huge, obviously. Ben Humrickhouse. I mean, my goodness, that 3 he hit with a hand in his TKR with a hand in his face as the shot clock's going down was really tough.
Ben Humrickhouse is missing the open ones and making the tough ones.
Making the tough ones, yeah. It's but the guy, he's a solid basketball player, and these guys are playing for one another. The play of the game to me, and it's a microcosm of everything about Waggler that was so incredible. You're on a heater, you penetrate, you get a man on you, you're in your kind of little mid-range action, and instead of taking a really tough contested 2, he kicks to the corner and finds Jake Davis, who had, how he had the presence of mind to wait and take it. I was like, he's not going to get it off in time.
Yeah, and I was hoping.
It just absolutely drained it. And if you watch, if you follow Mike LaTulip on Twitter, he did a great job of breaking down that play on the field of 68. That Merkovich actually dived into the hole. And once again, that's Illinois' offensive rebounding philosophies that drive things like this. Occupied Clough long enough that actually allowed Waggler to make the pass. I can't get over the fact that you're a freshman on the road, nationally televised game. You're on a freaking heater, and you only shoot 17 times. It just blows my mind. It's mind-boggling that he doesn't force
efficiency. And another thing Brad Underwood said in the post-game press conference is nothing phases him, right? Nothing rattles him. You don't ever really see his facial expression change. And that says something when you can go in front of one of the most hostile environments in the country and nothing phases you. You just kind of I hear all the noise, right? But for him, Kevin, basketball is just basketball, right? It's just, those fans that are screaming against him and calling him names or whatever aren't guarding him, right?
Right.
They're not setting the pick. They're not the one, who has to make the free throw. They're not the one who's trying to block his shot. He understands it's 5-on-5, and no matter what atmosphere he's in, that he's confident in his handle, his control, his little spin. That's the thing is everybody knows he's going to he's going to drive to his left and spin right? Or he's going to drive to his right and spin left. And nobody can stop it because he can use both hands. And if they do stop it, he will find someone open.
Yeah. And like, Brandon said, Brandon said it here is, he's surrounded by guys on the outside that knock down shots. You have to stay home because there's guys everybody on the team can make a damn 3-pointer. Yep. Every single guy that plays minutes on his team can make a shot. And it's a concern when you collapse. And that's why this offense is the number 1 efficient offense in the country right now. If the season ended today, it would be the most efficient offense in the history of KenPom.
30 years. Yeah.
It's what they do. It is an offense that just finds ways to beat you. And here's the thing. Attitude reflects leadership is one of my favorite statements in Remember the Titans, right? Bertier and Julius are going at it. And he says, attitude reflects leadership, Captain.
Strong side.
Right, yeah. But before that, and I think what has happened is this team has come to realize that Keaton Wagler is the best player on this team. And I don't think that anybody would not agree with that. Hell, Kylan Boswell was saying in September how good he was. I don't think that we thought he was going to be the best player. I don't think anybody saw this coming. But the team is galvanizing around that. Like, we got this super calm superstar. We're going to galvanize around that. And I'm sorry, I get to watch that almost on a nightly basis during the NBA season with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They have similar styles of game. They have similar styles of demeanor, nothing too far up, nothing too far down. And the team they have a steadying presence. And the last thing about it is this team is – they're so connected. They give a shit about each other. Like it's different. When David Merkovich says, "I'd kill myself if I couldn't play."
We're going to get to the comparisons of what Waggler is. Like, people are saying SGA, people are saying of Tyrese Halliburton. There's a lot of really good ones because he's not uber athletic, right?
Yeah,
he plays under the rim and he's 6'6", but not to interrupt you too much, Kev. Not to interrupt you too much, Kev.
No. But I think that's why I think this team can be special. And yes, this team is going to stub its toe. I shouldn't even say stub its toe. This team is probably going to lose a game or two.
They'll lose 2 or 3 more games. They got some tough road games, man.
Right. We got a couple. We got like 3 straight weekend tilts. Is this weekend at Purdue, next weekend at Nebraska, then Michigan State.
They go at UCLA, at USC. Yeah.
UCLA is the only undefeated team other than Nebraska at home this season.
And don't get me wrong. I still think Illinois can beat Michigan at home, but that game against Champaign against Michigan is not going to be a cupcake.
No, it's not. So, but you bought yourself a little bit of leeway here. There was a lot of conversations like, "Hey, Kylan Boswell's out for a month. Is our Big Ten championship hopes dead?" And I would have been a person that said, "Yeah, I don't think so now. I really don't. I think you got to take care of business this week against Washington. Give yourself a chance to beat a very good Nebraska team that's most likely going to be coming off a loss." So it's just what Keaton Wagler did in that game yesterday changed the entire trajectory of the season. So,
Kev, read what I'll have another one says, and then I'll. So I don't know if I go that far, but
I'm not going to repeat it either. So.
Yeah. So we're not repeating it. So if you guys are listening on Spotify or Apple, basically if somebody says that Keaton could have a crack at this guy's significant other after that performance. So, and he rated her
Champagne 6.
Champagne 6.
Yeah. I think Keaton can get all the
he can probably get a Champagne 6
right now,
probably.
Right now.
Yeah. So
baby face assassin. So
anyway, Kev, there was also a comment on one of our regulars. We appreciate everybody who comments and checks in every week. He said that we are so happy and proud that we have Jake Davis. What's your thought on Jake Davis change over the last couple of weeks?
100%. I know that I dogged on him here, and I think he probably I love Jake as a person. I love him as a leader. I was very frustrated with the completely empty performances from Jake. There were points in the season where he played 15 or 20 minutes, and he didn't do anything in the stat line, like nothing. Didn't make a shot. Didn't get a rebound, didn't get an assist. It was like 3 or 4 games ago. All he had was a steal, and I'm not even sure it was his steal. Yes, you need guys who are going to go in there and just play mistake-free basketball, and he's done that better than just about anybody else in the country. He's like 5th in the country in lowest turnover percentage, and I love that about him. I just needed a little bit more, and we've seen it the past couple of games. I need him to go crash the glass and get a rebound. I need him to make the kick to David Merkovich and get an assist. And because he is so valuable in other ways. And now one of the other things, I think the stretch that he's gone on where he's made a couple threes, it's realizing that he's gaining confidence in himself. I hate it when he passes up open looks. I'm gonna say that right now. I do not want him to pass up open looks. I don't care when the shot clock it is. One of the other things, we're gonna have to notice that this game will change how teams guard Illinois, which should open up the offense, to be honest with you.
And so what was it? So I just enjoyed Saturday so much because it was all line I love, and then I'm watching the select few Purdue fans, complain about the whistle, right? Do you remember the play when Keaton Wagler drove in and TKR shoved him like this in the lane, and they created a turnover or a travel, and they called nothing. So I was just remembering, and they are complaining about the refs for giving an Illini whistle. That's just hilarious.
Well, we do. I mean, we do push and for rebounds, and I mean that's why the Ohio State game was so nauseating, is they called it every time down the floor. But I was going to say this: one of the things you saw from Waggler, especially, and it happened with some other guys too, he took deeper threes. I've long stood on this. I think a 3-point attempt 4 feet beyond the arc is a better 3-point attempt than your feet an inch behind the line with a hand in your face. An unguarded 27-footer is a better shot than a guarded 22-footer or whatever the line is. I know they're not right. It's like it's 20 feet 9 inches. So a 24-footer versus a 21-footer, whatever. Waggler made a lot of deep threes. If you've watched what Steph Curry, and I'm not comparing him to Steph, even though he does have a little bit of a similar, like they talked about his lower starting point, Trae Young. Trae Young did it too. You are going to extend defenses. Defenses are going to have to extend out on him further. The further you extend on him, the bigger the driving lanes become. It should open up the offense even more. I think Keaton was probably at the top of just about every team's scouting report before Purdue. I think without a doubt he's 100% at the top of every scouting report now. And it'll be interesting to see how that changes the dynamic of this team.
But what's funny is, though, let me finish my point about the Purdue fans. They were saying, why were they, why were they guarding them Illinois like this? And then they switched back that ball. And they always had open threes. I tried to say newsflash. That's how Illinois has open threes against everyone. There's a reason that they play the style they do. They hunt for mismatches, and they will find them. There's a reason, Kevin, that they have the best offense in 30 freaking years. Okay, that's not just by accident. That they recruit to this. They get, they find guys that can shoot, as you mentioned earlier, Kevin. They only have 1 or 2 guys on the team who actually play legit minutes, Kevin, who'd shoot under 30% from 3.
Yep.
And one of
those guys just dropped a 30-burger on Maryland this week.
Yeah, and one of those guys is Andre Stojakovic. So Jake, if you guys aren't sure, right? Jake Davis, Ben Hummerkaus, the Big Z, Big T, Waggler. I think Boswell's right around 30, something like that.
He's at 32%, yeah.
Yeah, so all these guys can shoot over 30%. So you're going to have an open guy who shoots between 30 and 43%, right?
Well, you have 6 guys on your team that have scored 20 points or more in a game, and 3 that have scored 30 or more in a game.
Hey, $10 Tommy's back. What up, $10 Tommy?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to that game personally.
Calling out the trolls. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Hey, it's the second time in 3 years Illinois has had 3 guys have a 30-point game in a single season. I don't ever remember it happening before where we had 3 different guys who scored 30 in a single game. It's happened twice in 3 years.
Yeah, that's what makes them scary, as JR said. Illinois every night, right?
Yeah.
Look, Keaton Wagler didn't play great against Maryland. He didn't really score the ball. I think he was, 1 for 7 from 3? Something like that?
1 for 9.
1 for 9 from 3. But guess
so
what?
He was 10 for 21 this week from 3.
He's going to have his 4th Freshman of the Week, though, award.
He's going to get a Big Ten Player of the Week, too. So.
Yeah, Big Ten Player of the Week. And we'll talk about where we think this puts him in Big Ten Player of the Year race. I think it puts him up in the top 2 or 3 already right now.
Yeah.
And definitely some other accolades. But this win was huge for the team. Illinois is so tough to guard because everybody can shoot it. They got Washington Thursday night and then Nebraska Sunday. Obviously, Illinois is going to want some, a little bit of revenge. But I think also, too, Kevin, as we talk about it, Illinois and Keaton Wagler, Kevin, are not the same team they were from December 8th when Nebraska came to Champaign. You don't think Keaton Wagler's gotten better since then?
I mean, he played in that regard. I looked it up last night, actually. He played a phenomenal game against them. He had 19 points and 10 assists. Tommy Ivasic and David Merkovich were terrible in that game. I mean, absolutely terrible. And that was the game that Merk got called out by
he didn't even show up. Yeah.
Right. And if you go look, I'm pulling this up right now. We pull up his game log on Basketball Reference here.
What did he say? He was back in Europe or something, right? It was like,
yeah, he did.
Play.
I can't love that guy anymore. By the way, oh my goodness.
By the way, he gave Illinois 12-8 and outplayed Trey Kaufman-Renn. By the way, but I love Trey Kaufman-Renn, screaming at him, right? Trying to get
like 2 minutes into the game because you made a 6-foot baby hook. Shut your mouth. Just shut up.
And then Merck came down and hit a 3 the next possession, I think.
Oh yeah, I got pretty ecstatic over that one. Yeah, in the 9 games since, he's averaging 8 rebounds and he's shooting 40% from 3. So he's been a different guy. You could do Tomislav Ivicic too. Since then, he's been much better. Tommy's got 7 rebounds or more in 5 straight games. So there's just a level of it that it's moved up. They're playing better now. Granted, Kylan had a pretty good game against them. We're going to miss Kylan. Their small guards give me concerns on Sunday. What they're going to do with the dribble penetration.
By the way, Braden Frager or whatever, he's out, so he hasn't been playing. Did you know that?
I think he might be back this week. We'll see. They got a big week. They got Michigan and us this week. So
yeah, and I doubt while they want to get him healthy, do they want to rush him back again in these matchups against physical teams? Probably not. I think their journey in March is not compared to how they do in this week against these two teams. Sure, they're going to be in the top. They deserve to be. I think they're finally going to be in the top 5. With Purdue losing, and there was one other team lost in the top 5 this week. Houston lost and Purdue, so that moves them up 2 spots to 5. So you got number 2 or number 3. You'll have number 3 probably Michigan and number 5, and then they host will probably be 8. I'm going to go ahead and say 8 Illinois.
8 or 9 is what I'm guessing.
Yeah, 8 or 9. But I think with how Illinois beat Purdue, I think you could leapfrog us over one for Gonzaga or Michigan State, personally. So, but yeah, 2 huge matchups. But I just wanted to mention for anybody watching the Nebraska, they've got a big key piece out right now too. So,
should I go
to the Nebraska game?
Yeah.
If the weather's good.
The weather's gonna be great.
I bet you there'll be a ticket.
Yeah, the $100 to get in.
And it's a beautiful arena too.
Yeah, go to Pinnacle Bank. So
yeah, that'd be fun. Did you see? I did not see Trey Kaufman-Renn pouting in the postgame. I didn't see it.
Oh, he basically pulled a Marshawn Lynch, is what I understand. He said, basically, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Is that really what he was saying? Oh my God.
Basically, it was that's the synopsis. So.
I at least like that Braden Smith called Waggler a lottery pick, and and Oscar Clough basically tipped his cap and said, hey, the dude's making step back 27-footers. I mean, I don't know how you guard that any better. I mean, but there were about 3 or 4 open threes as well.
Yeah,
yep.
What you talked about, this team is going to try to search for mismatches, and they've got enough offensive firepower and talent, and you've got guys on the outside that can keep help from coming, or you're going to get burnt by guys. Like I said, Mark's shooting 40% from 3. This team is just really offensively loaded right now. The concern is I don't know how Purdue played really well offensively. Braden was fantastic, hit some tough shots. They shot way too high of a percentage for me to sit here and just say, well, it was just a good game from them. I feel like we've got some things we need to clean up on the defensive end. We've got a game Washington team who just thumped what appears to be a bad Oregon team.
Oregon team.
When they don't have Biddle or Halstead, right?
Yeah, I didn't watch the game. Did Biddle not play?
No, neither one of them played. But Wesley Yates is back now playing for Washington, so maybe we owe him one. So
yeah, remember last time Wesley Yates and by the way,
Desmond Claude.
Well, yeah, Desmond Claude is pretty much shut his career down. He's not playing for them right now. He was their best player. So, but yeah, don't get me wrong. Wesley Yates and Diallo, they've got 2 really athletic, tough guards. Which Diallo, and Steinbach, they're big. Doesn't shoot it really. But he's going to be a good matchup in the post for guys like Tomislav, Big Z, or Merkovic. But again, this is a young, turnover-prone Washington team. They take a lot of bad shots. They don't really shoot it well either. I've watched them quite a few times.
Ron Steinbach is really good. He's really good.
He is. No one is sleeping on the Huskies. I don't think this team will be Illinois.
No, that's the thing about this Illinois team is like I think we saw some games where we're like, oh shit, is this the USC game all over again? I thought about that about 5 or 10 minutes into the Maryland game. Kind of thought about that against Minnesota. Kind of thought of that against Northwestern. But I think that the thing is with this team is their floor is just so much higher, right? This team, one of the bugaboos of last year's team was we turn the ball over a lot. This team doesn't turn the ball over a lot. They just don't. This team is just. This is a really sound basketball team and what they do. And the guys that turn the ball over are guys who can really make plays like David Merkovic. And so you're going to allow it. So
what was it? My guy, one of our favorite guys here. I'll find it. Brad Sturdy. The guys that turn the ball posted, I'll find it. He posted a cool stat that Illinois, when they beat Purdue, who turned the ball over only 3 times, right? Let me find the stat here. He tweeted it just a little bit ago. That Purdue was the only team in like 50 Purdue became the first team in the past 20 years to shoot over 56% from the field, score 80 points, and have 3 or few turnovers and lose.
Yeah.
And that's how good Illinois was Saturday. So sometimes you just got to tip your cap, man.
Yeah, and a lot of Dave, I agree that this is you got on the road against number 4 Purdue, and then on the road against what I think will be number 5 Nebraska, and back-to-back weekends. You're going to sandwich Washington at home on a Thursday night. It is a classic trap game. The thing that gives me a little bit of confidence in it is maybe the time frame in between the two. Is that we got 5 days in between the Purdue game and Washington. Is I think that this team will be focused on what they need to do against Washington, and I don't think this team's going to need any motivation to try and beat Nebraska. Obviously, so.
No.
And yeah, Sean Garner, Nebraska's a double-digit underdog at Michigan on Wednesday night. I think
they are. They're 11.5 points.
Yeah, as of right now. So yeah, I do think that Nebraska will lose this week. I certainly hope it's to us. But I'm pretty confident it's going to be to Michigan. And listen, I'm going to stand on this. I went to the window. I bet that Minnesota would keep it within 8 points against them the other night. And Minnesota was winning at halftime, and they just came out and just boat raced them in the second half. This Nebraska team, like as much as people don't want to believe it, it's a really good basketball team. It is a really, really good basketball team.
You talking about Michigan?
Nebraska.
Oh, Nebraska. Hell yeah. The fact is that what I don't get is why did it take Nebraska to beat Michigan State at home for them to be like, oh, I guess they're legit. They thought that coming into Champaign and beating Illinois was like chump change,
I mean, listen, it happens in the Brad Underwood era. I'm one of the biggest Brad supporters. I think that there's a lot of folks who follow college basketball that said, oh, there's the USC game. Oh, there's the Maryland game. Oh, there's the Penn State game. Oh, there's the whatever game, the OPE game that Illinois has every year at home. I think that they labeled that the Nebraska game because when you look at their non-conference schedule, they beat a bad Kansas State team by 1. They beat Winthrop by 7. South Carolina upstate by 9. Like they didn't really show anything until they absolutely thumped Wisconsin, which was right before they played us. And now they're playing like they're a really legit basketball team. But I don't think they're going to go. Michigan is a horrible matchup for them, and it's going to be bad. They might get their doors blown off. But they play them on Tuesday and then play us on Sunday. So they get a nice break between us. So that's not fun.
I will say, though, while I can understand you saying that, I've noticed lately, Michigan's allowing teams just kind of hang in there, stick around.
Yeah, they do.
And Wisconsin did what they did to them. But Nebraska's not a team you want to let hang around. So and by the way, goodness gracious, Wisconsin blowing an 11, 12 point second half lead at home to USC. Like, don't get me wrong, but these games are helping the Big Ten get 10, 11 teams in the NCAA tournament. That's their biggest win of the year, but they have a good net. but they I think that was only their first or second quad one win, USC. So
yeah, they went 9 of 37 from 3.
Yeah.
I mean, they shot 34% on the game.
Nick Boyd was like 0 for something in the second half, where they're like, you just can't have that, man.
Yeah, I look at them and I wonder, Nick Boyd taking that many shots comparatively to John Blackwell. I don't know.
I hope when they come to Champaign, that's what happens too.
Yeah, that's going to be a game where we're going to miss Kylan Boswell. I'll just tell you that right. That's going to be a game where you're going to miss his defensive presence for sure.
Grandpa Baker Mazzaro looked good against Whiskey. Yeah, he's 25. He's got a family, dude, a mortgage. It's like it's his 7th year and he's playing college basketball. But he was on those couple Auburn Bruce Pearl teams. So that's an exciting weekend. Illinois now is number 6 in the net, number 4 on KenPom.
Yeah.
So I expect, as of right now, if you were to have a real legit bracketology, you look at Illinois, I think they're like 3rd or 4th now in quad 1 wins. They're tied with Purdue. So I think they'd be a 2 seed right now if March Madness. They'd probably be the 7 or 8 spot.
The bracket matrix has us as a 3 still. And I think that's fair. But
there'd be some brackets have us at 2.
So yes, they do, and some have us at 4. But most have us as a 3 right now. I think that it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens. So you root for things like Gonzaga to lose to somebody. I don't think they look very good right now. They just barely slipped by San Francisco.
I know they have Graham Ek and Braden Huff out right now.
That is true. Yep. So they're battling, and they have Adam Do Nothing Miller on their team. So he had a Jake Davis stat line last night where he did nothing but a steal in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, just because they need a veteran guy out there to run around to make $1 million,
The one team here Dave's talking about, the one team nobody's really talking about, and we'll certainly talk about them on this podcast next Sunday, is Michigan State. Not only is Michigan State winning, but the way that they're beating teams right now is quite impressive. All of a sudden, Cohen Carr can make 3-pointers. That's a scary proposition. I still don't know who that team is.
Yeah, they play so many different random guys that don't play a bunch every night,
and then they get 9 points for them. So
I also saw Northwestern go in there and almost beat them too. So
yeah, that was a while ago.
It was a couple weeks. That was right before we went into Evanston and beat them.
Yeah, they've just been on the last couple of weeks. They've been on a tear. So,
but you know how Illinois and Michigan State games are, though. It's gonna
for sure.
Yeah, so it'll be a good one.
That's the Saturday before the Super Bowl at 7:00 at night, isn't it? Or is it?
Wait a second. No, I think that yes, it is. It's Saturday night prime time.
Is it a Friday? Or is that Saturday?
February 7th. It's a Friday.
Yeah.
So it's prime time Saturday night on Fox. It'll be the game of the week. It'll be if Illinois takes care of business next week. But Michigan State plays Michigan next week too, man. Michigan has a fun week. They host Nebraska. Do they go to Michigan State or is it in Ann Arbor?
I think so.
Okay, because I know they host Nebraska and then they play Michigan State right after that.
What's crazy is like if you look at the Big Ten standings and everybody's bunched up at 7, 8, and 1, whatever their record is. Michigan goes to Michigan. Michigan goes to Michigan State, I should say.
Okay.
There's been a lot of these, like Michigan State, Michigan haven't played. Illinois, Michigan haven't played. Like Illinois, Nebraska, Nebraska did beat Michigan State, but like a lot of these teams haven't played each other yet, and so it's going to be really interesting coming down here. So,
Illinois so far has played split with 2 of the top 5 teams, Nebraska and Purdue.
Yep.
So and then they're coming with Michigan State soon. They'll be having their double dip with Nebraska, and they only play Michigan once at home. So they only played Michigan once this year. Same with Purdue.
Yeah.
Same with Michigan State too. That's another thing about Illinois' schedule, right? You split Nebraska, you take care of Michigan at home, and let's say you lose to Michigan State, you go 3-2 in those games, right? You go 3-2 against the top 4 other teams. That's how you can win a Big Ten.
Well, you know, Illinois 8-1 in conference, and they got 5 road wins already, right? That's huge.
Yeah.
That's good. You're +4 in the old Sean Harrington matrix. You played 5 of your first 9 on the road. Like now, granted, I know the schedule gets a lot tougher here. We've already talked about it and where you have to play some of these games. But you just bought yourself a lot of leeway beating Purdue at Purdue.
Yes.
So.
Because let's say you don't beat Nebraska, okay, and then you take care of Washington and you take care of Nebraska before you head to Michigan State. You're already 10-2. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're 10-2. So at the end of the day, if Illinois ends the season 15-5 or 14-6, I think you're going to put yourself.
No, I'd like to see it more at 16-4. I agree with you. Without Kylan Boswell, that LA trip scares me a little bit. I think like
you got to split that. You got to split that.
You got to win both those, in my opinion.
At the very least, you got to split it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because those are both going to be quad 1 wins, though, no matter what.
Illini Dave asked how many wins is the Big Ten champion? Is 17-3 will win the league for sure.
I think 16-4 you could tie for it. Yeah.
I think that's what it's going to take this year, which is a ridiculously high number. I think that's what Michigan State was last year, shockingly, because the bottom of the conference is bad. The bottom of the conference is just not good. I mean, it's when you look at Illinois, we got Washington at our house, we got Indiana at our house, we got Northwestern at our house left. Like normally we got Oregon at our house. What Oregon team is? Have they quit? Are they folded?
Yeah. By that and then we go at Maryland in the year.
Who just where are they at? Are they quit by that point in time? So
I think 15 wins is probably for a pretty confident thing that they can do without having. Let's say they lose all the rest of those tough home games. 15-5 is where they're going to end up. But if they can win 1 or 2 more of them, right? You take Nebraska, right, and you split UCLA, Michigan State. You have a good shot to.
Yeah. You go 15-5 puts it to 24-7, and I think that's a comfortable 3 seed.
Yep. You get anything better than
25-6 are probably 2. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously, how that Texas Tech win looks better and better all the time.
And Tennessee went and beat Alabama this weekend.
That's a give and take one, right?
Mizzou needed to beat Oklahoma. Oh my gosh! Did you see how they beat Oklahoma?
You made me sick to my stomach.
Dude, Mizzou hit a 30-footer at the buzzer to tie it in regulation at 81, and then they're down 2. And Mitchell, who barely shoots threes, hits a 3 at the buzzer to
Mark
beat him.
Mitchell, running one-hander in traffic. Like,
what was it? Who's their coach?
Porter Mosier.
He was wanting to just bang his head on the table, man, the scoreboard. Anyway.
That's one of the first things I got from one of my buddies who's an Oklahoma fan. He's like, hey, man, is this athletic director we're getting from Illinois going to fire Porter Mosier? If so, I'll like him a lot.
I will say, though, they did just make the tournament last year. To fire a guy after 1 year that's maybe mediocre or bad, I think you got to after 2 years of that,
It's really weird. If you go look at the history of Oklahoma basketball, it's a really proud basketball school. Really proud basketball school. I mean, they're a top 25 program of all time.
They've had their lulls, though, of not being very good.
When Porter Mosier
they had Lon Kruger had him good towards the end of his career, but they weren't playing in Sweet 16s before that.
Well, this will be his 5th year. Well, they had Kelvin Sampson there, was getting them to Final Four. So, they made the tournament because we passed on Jeremiah Fears. That's exactly right.
How many years has Porter Moser not made the NCAA tournament there, though?
If he doesn't make it this year, it'll be 4 times in 5 years that he hasn't made the NCAA tournament.
Okay. All right. Well,
he's 25-45 in conference play.
I didn't realize that
coming into this year. I don't.
Why'd they give him a 4th damn year last year? Then 3 years without making it. Anyway, so we'll switch gears here for a brief moment back to the Keaton Wagler discussion. I think it's important. We were talking about player of the year, first team All Big Ten. You think he could even be a guy that gets second team All-American who could have his jersey raised?
Yeah, I really do. And the aspect of it is where he's elevating the team that he's on, right? So one of the things that's going to be very interesting to see where things go with him is how well does Illinois finish? Illinois, like I said, let's say Illinois finishes 25-6. or steals a game against Nebraska, whomever on the road, Michigan State, whatever. Those are national televised games, and he plays well again. I'm not talking 46. I never expect that again. I think that that's going to elevate him to potentially win Big Ten Player of the Year over a guy like Braden, potentially.
When you have the head-to-head matchup like that,
I worry like Yaxel Lindenberg's got a lot of other guys doing a lot of really great things from a numbers standpoint. Would that hurt his chances to win? And then I do think that there's a real chance of making a second-team All-American. And it's just going to be interesting. There's some guys who are putting up some really great numbers where their season goes, and whether or not, like, can he squeeze it in there, right? Does he get in over a Taman Lipsey or a Joshua Jefferson at Iowa State, depending on where their season goes? Like, how much does Darren Peterson play? Like, there's just all these weird things that could line up for Keaton to potentially be a second-team All-American. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I think it's a long shot, but it can happen.
I mean, I would agree too. I mean, I think it just depends on who holds someone in this team of they're the 10th best player or the 11th best player, right? So, because that's what it boils down to. I think would he be a guy I'd want on my second team? Well, what's he do offensively compared to Lipsey? How does he, his rebounding, even though he didn't need to rebound against Purdue because he was scoring so much,
right?
The fact that he scores and he's great on the glass can help just as much as a guy who's a better assist, point guard.
One of the things that I think I wish we would have done in yesterday's game is, like, it was coming down to, like, we're getting ready to go to the under 8 timeout and there was a ball stoppage. I wish they'd have got Keaton out of the game. I wish they'd have sat him down for a little bit of a longer extended break. I think they did a really nice job of letting Merck bring up the ball to take some pressure off of him, but he was pretty gassed. Like, when he missed the front end of the free throws, he missed the first one, and I was like, man, it hit the front of the iron. I was like, he looked gassed. So that's one of the things I think that Brad's got to take some notice and be like, maybe we could find a way to give him a couple breathers, but that's where having Boswell out hurts. So
I don't believe anybody else will ever have their jersey raised upside down again.
Don't feed the trolls.
Hey, he may be a troll, but I think what happened with Illinois, by the way, T. Shannon may be a Bull soon.
I'd go for that.
Yeah, the Timberwolves are looking at, like, dealing to get Kobe White, and it sounds like they're trying to get rid of Mike Conley and then add Terrence Shannon into it with a second-round pick. So, hey, the Bulls would actually play Terrence Shannon. Screw Patrick Williams.
Well, once he gets healthy.
Yeah, which, so same with Pat Bryant, dude. Pat Bryant went out again today, So it's like some guys just need to stay healthy.
Greatest ability is availability, so.
It is true. Kev, you have anything football related you wanted to get to before we hit the final thoughts?
I like the pickup we got this past week. The kid out of Jacksonville State, was it Daryl Parter or something like that? I think that was a good pickup.
Great size.
No, Prater.
4.5 sacks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he has good size.
Yeah.
Alvin Avery size. We discussed that earlier.
Yeah, so I think they're addressing it. Obviously, I think I'm excited for what they're doing. There's been some talk of some position changes. As I hear more of those, I'll let you guys know. But I'm gonna keep that under my lid right now. But we'll talk more about that when the season comes around. So
yeah, I have no doubt in my mind, and I have 100% belief Brett Bielema is going to do everything he can to put a competent, quality product out there every year.
Hey, Ryan, one thing before we move all the way on, I meant to ask you this. Keaton Wagler against Purdue, best performance by an Illini that you've ever seen in your lifetime?
I would say yes. And the only other one I could maybe actual single performance that I could compare that would be close, right? Because it was an NCAA tournament game and against who it was against. Even though he was, a junior, it would be Frank Williams in the Sweet 16 against Kansas.
Oh, that was he would have dropped 30 on him?
Yeah, when he dropped 30, because it's the Sweet 16, right? And it was on Kirk Heinrich, too, by the way.
Yeah.
And it was in San Antonio in the Dome before they played Arizona in 2001. That was just special, dude. But this at Purdue against against the top 5 team as a freshman, as an 18-year-old, that might get the nod because, Frankie was Big Ten Player of the Year that year. And grown-ass man, he was strong, could do it all.
Yeah, he was a redshirt sophomore, so he was a junior by age.
He's 21, yeah. So, but I would say it's right up there, right there.
That is a great answer because the game I keep coming back to was Brandon Paul against Ohio State. Brandon 43 on 15 shots, if I recall correctly, 15. Which with Keaton's numbers are so impressive, 46 points on 17 field goals attempted. And the one thing for Brandon that actually made me think about that, like, first of all, just a couple fewer shot attempts in those 3 huge blocks that he had on defense.
That was a top 10 Ohio State team at home.
Top 5, if I recall correctly.
Jared Solinger, Aaron Kraft, right?
Yeah. So I give the nod to Keaton because of being a road environment.
Yeah. But, I mean, to be honest with you, that's not a bad answer either. But I think – I think that Frank Williams one people forget. I think
absolutely.
Yeah, that's a fun one to go back and rewatch. It's on YouTube, so I love the YouTube machine. But yeah, so those are 3 great in my lifetime. Kevin, you mentioned that 43-point game from Brandon. I love that game. By the way, shout out Myers Leonard in that game. Had some huge shots. He hit a couple big threes in that game, and I think that actually helped his stock in the NBA go up because he was battling Jared Solinger in that game.
Yeah. Here's one. Yeah. Frank took 25 shots that game.
Okay.
Corey Bradford went 1 for 13. Thank God Frank had 30.
Yes. But Frank did it. Look at it. What else did he have assists wise and rebounds? What did he have?
Oh, I'm sure. I don't know.
But he wasn't. He was having some. He had some sweet dimes to Brian Cook too. So. But yeah, anyway, I think it was more of just the moment and then he was playing. 25 shots is a lot, though, to only score 30.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I've heard some people say, well, Darren Williams against Arizona. And I was like, he had a really good game. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of guys had good games. It wasn't just, it wasn't Luther, like he put the team on his back. Luther, D, like Roger, like they all did. So,
yeah. Yeah, so those are 3 great games. So anybody want to go back and watch them on the YouTubes? It's fun. So we'll get to our
5 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals.
Okay. Yeah, it was a good game. It was a good game. It was a good performance. That was the year Dickie V was at the Iowa game. He behind the back, right? Yeah. Oh, Frankie Williams.
Oh, it was incredible. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. By the way, I've made it mentioned here. Frankie Williams, probably my favorite Illini of all time, which could change. It could change, but just so clutch. So final thoughts here.
It's hard when you're a kid to have somebody else, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I was 14, 15. You were in the Army, I think, right?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was coming back from a friend's wedding. I was at the rehearsal dinner when he scored the 30, and I was coming back from a wedding. We stopped in Syracuse to watch us lose to Arizona, so that was unfortunate.
Unfortunate. So for final thoughts here, Kev, I'll let you go first here.
Oh, it's interesting, by the way. If you go to Basketball Reference, Sports Reference, college basketball, they have game scores. Brandon Paul's game score against Ohio State was 37.7. Keaton Wagler's was 37.9. So they're that close. Frank's was like 34. Anything above like a 25 is singly good. So, yeah, Merck's 2020 game. Yeah, but it was
27. Yeah.
It was against Bums. Hey, listen, man. You're going to be a senior in college basketball playing in arguably the most physical conference in the league. You can't act like a bitch when you get punked by a freshman. You can't act like you're Mr. Johnny Tough Guy and flail when Andrei Stojakovic touches you with his offhand like he slapped the bejesus out of you to coax a foul call. You can't act like that when you throw bricks up that somehow go in and don't rebound. So I'm sorry. My final thoughts go out to Trey Kaufman-Wren. Ooh, little whiny bitch, fake tough guy. I'm sorry. I got no use for you, dude. Like, you're a hell of a talented basketball player. Shut the fuck up and play basketball. He irritated me beyond belief. And then obviously it was brought up to the attention of us Illinois fans about him saying they were saying racist things to me in Champaign. Oh, I'm certainly sure that college basketball fans go into college arenas on college campuses to share racial epithets out loud about black basketball players. That makes about as much sense as a screen door in a submarine. If I heard somebody use those words around me, I'd slap your mouth. I don't care what team you're wearing. So Trey Kaufman-Renn, here's to you. Those are my final thoughts. Sorry, dude. You can't act like you make a little 5-foot turnaround jump shot on a freshman and talk that shot and one. And he didn't even touch you little whiny bitch.
Hey, and at the end of the day, I love how Boswell and Stojakovic, even though they weren't on the team then, 2 years ago, and Braden Smith hit that 3 at the end, he put the sleep. I love how Stojakovic and Boswell, when they left the court, were doing this. You know, it's like, oh, we remember. You don't think the coaching staff showed the video to the team? Oh, 9-9. You know, it's like it all comes back to you. Illinois getting the final, the last laugh against Purdue. It was beautiful.
That was my Twitter profile picture for a while. Was Ty Rodgers doing it last year after Casper Harris hit that shot? So. Oh
man, yeah. Good luck topping that. Yeah, I don't think I am.
You want to talk about the Kurt Signetti of women's basketball? Never mind. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, but I will. Say, this is one you guys are all going to love. And congratulations to Devin Witherspoon and the Seattle Seahawks for taking down the Rams and Sean McVay. I feel so bad for Sean. I don't feel bad for old Matty Stafford either. He can take those old bad knees home. He needs to rest them. You know, it's like, oh, he's done enough. You know, it's time to rest. It's time to rest, Matthew. Your time's going. It's time's coming up. But what a story for Sam Darnold, man. I think his journey was pretty awesome for people to say, like, think about this. You know, you're drafted high, right? It doesn't work out for you. Yeah. You could have just packed your bags, dude. You could have just packed your bags and took your money and been like, you know what? I'm just going to be a backup and ride the pine like Chase Daniel for 10 years.
Josh Rosen, same draft class.
Yeah, Josh Rosen. And dude persevered. He goes to Minnesota, makes them relevant again last year. Look at Minnesota this year without him. And they said, well, we are paying JJ McCarthy a lot of money. We're just going to have to let you go. So you're going to go to Seattle, who had a defense already lined up for him, had the best game of his career. So shout out Sam Darnold. But most importantly for this is for Illini's Devin Witherspoon, who had 2 huge pass breakups to stop the Rams on 3rd and 4th down to give them the ball back.
And then tackled Puka inbounds to end the game.
Yeah, Puka inbounds, dude. He was a beast, dude. So that actually in Illinois is going to have 3 guys in the Super Bowl. We got Tommy Cutlets, DeVito. We got new Patriots backup quarterback and Vidarian Lowe, offensive lineman.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about Vidarian there. That's
Those cool. 3 will be playing for rings. So more Illini will be getting Super Bowl rings.
I was really hoping it'd be Pat Bryant. But
yeah, true. Give me some flowers to sleepers too. Great predictions. LOL. Dude, sleepers now, they know their audience. They are always going to cater to Illinois because they know who their big audience is. It's Illini fans.
100%. It's the same way Colin Cowherd talked about Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears all year because Bears fans were tuning in to watch it and see it.
Those guys are wanting views. They want people to watch. They want their subscribers to go up. So you talk about what's relevant and who's going to watch. Mm-hmm. So Illini fans are going to watch, and you always take the bait anytime somebody says something as well. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, we're going to have at least 1 new Super Bowl ring from an Illini, which is pretty cool. So that'll do it for my final thought. I didn't really want to talk about the women, the Illini women. They lost a close one in Nebraska.
Missing Gretchen Dolan, man. I miss her.
What happened?
She didn't play this week. She didn't play against Nebraska.
Huh. I hope that's not another stupid injury, dude. She cannot stay on the court. Yeah, that was her problem last year. Anyway, they host UCLA, who's like got 2 7-footers and on the number 3 in the country.
They're just hammering teams. So yeah, but
yeah. But anyway, that's on Wednesday night. This is still going to be a tournament team.
Yeah, Shauna's got her work cut out for her going forward. So it's just.
Yep. So that'll do it this week. 2 big games. Hopefully, we have a fun podcast next week with a 2-0 week. That'd be fun.
That would be huge. It would be huge. So
10-1, Illinois probably be on the top 5 by then. So anyway, things are looking good. So Illini back in the top 10 tomorrow morning. Keaton Wagler, Big Ten Player of the Week. And if you know what, if you can rewatch the replay, I know it's on. If you have BTN Plus, Kev, the replay of the game is going to be on BTN Plus.
I tape them all anyway. I can watch it whenever. So love you too, Joe.
Anyway, if you haven't subscribed to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, please do that and tell your friends and all your other Illini friends. So